What's up, you guys? Sean Ross Sapp, Fightful.com. We cover pro wrestling, MMA, and boxing, and I don't think we could have a better crossover right now than the two people standing in front of us here. We've got WWE's Dana Brooke, and we have Ulysses, the Monster Diaz. How you doing, guys?
What's going on? Thanks for having us.
I'm doing great. Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, I was really excited to make this interview happen because there's plenty to get into here, especially considering the crossover. Dana, I've seen you've been at some of his fights recently, and there's been a little talk of some crossover there about maybe him getting into pro wrestling as well.
I would absolutely love that. Every day he trains, I see him fighting. I know, what he's capable of, and definitely WWE in the near future. I foresee it at least. He's done every, combat sport there is besides WWE. So I feel as though that's the last step. And then once he's in there, he's going to be set. Maybe like some mixed match tags after.
Hey.
And then I'll be in his corner and he can be in mine.
So
I think that sounds awesome. Yeah. It's doing the WWE would be a dream come true. As a kid, everybody grows up watching that. I would love some little monster maniacs.
Yeah, for sure.
Dana, you had mentioned him being involved in several different martial arts, and that's a very unique path that I've seen him take over the past less than a year. It feels like, because there's been MMA, there's been boxing, there's been bare knuckle boxing. I know there's been jiu-jitsu competitions along the way. Uly, how do you balance all of that? I mean, I know sometimes when you train one, you train them all, but I mean, you've been competing across everything over the last year.
Yeah, honestly, I've really just wanted to test myself, and so I put everything I got into it. I turned professional into a professional fighter at a later age, so I tell everybody I really got no time to waste. I've done my partying, I've done my hanging out. Now it's down to business for me, and I love what I do. And I've been blessed enough to fight on some big stages at this point in my career.
I also feel like everything goes hand in hand. Like what he prepares for one thing can kind of benefit him into the next thing. Boxing and then bare knuckle fighting. For me, this is just from what I see, goes hand in hand. Same thing with the MMA style, and then him going into some competitions for jiu-jitsu. I feel as though, that works hand in hand as well. So his training, he trains like a monster. That's all I can say.
Dana, have you been doing any cross training, so to speak, in that regard? Because, the crossover has loomed huge in wrestling over the last few years.
Yeah, definitely has. Also, I see him train every single day. So the mitts or what he puts me through as far as the bag, he has a whole gym set up in his backyard. So I'm constantly watching what he does and trying to do like a lot of the agility work as far as the ladders and stuff like that. Growing up, I've always wanted to get into a cage and, do MMA. But this is, kind of evolved later in my career, as far as I was already in fitness and bodybuilding as well. And then wrestling kind of came and filled that void as far as like fighting. So, I admire everything he does, and he has a great coach that's here every single day that, gives me the best advice, watches my matches day in and day out, and watches me live. So when I come back home, he gives me his feedback on what he thinks I can possibly do. Same thing with Uly. He's always watching me, always being super supportive. So yeah, maybe one day, after wrestling, after WWE, never say never, you may be able to see me in something down the line.
Have you integrated any of that into your wrestling work? Because anybody who's watched you wrestle has noticed like a major shift in your in-ring over the past year and a half.
Thank you. Training is just, it's come second nature to me. It was funny because when I had met Uly, he was fighting the same day I was fighting in New York. And then I saw like a couple of he like knocked some guy out within the first 30 seconds, like ground and pound. So I was like, oh, okay, let me do it, So I was doing a little bit of ground and pound as well. But yeah, definitely he's, I've seen his competitions with like an arm bar and stuff like that. So when I put a hold on, I try and do like an arm bar or different holds I try and incorporate.
For Ulysses, I know that you competed at Titan, and Titan is under the eye of the UFC. The UFC actively watches Titan to scout up and comers there. I can't count the number of people I've seen compete on Titan, then within like a month or two, they're on Dana White's Contender Series. Like, it happens all the time. Is that something that you're cognizant of when you're taking fights? Because you've been on Titan, you've been in bare knuckle boxing. Those are pretty highlighted spots for someone who hasn't had a ton of fights on their record.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been blessed with great platforms. Yes, Titan is a huge platform. So I got to give a big thank you to Lex McMahon for giving me the opportunity to do that. But one thing is, they know also, like bare knuckle, when they came down here, I bring a big home team, you know, a big home crowd. Yeah. I bring a lot of people out from Miami. They got a lot of support, you know. I'm very blessed for that. So you know, it's so those being able to bring a lot of people out has blessed me with the opportunity to fight on these big platforms like BKFC and like Titan, you know. And my first BKFC fight was on pay-per-view, which was huge. You know, and my first fight on Titan was on UFC Fight Pass, which is huge also. So I've been, you know, I've been truly blessed with the opportunity to fight, you know, for these organizations.
I will brag a little bit too. His first fight was in the top 10, was it knockouts of 2019 or something like that? Yeah.
So that KO was everywhere.
Awesome. Yeah, right?
It was everywhere. And we talk about how bare knuckle boxing put on the pay-per-view. It's that grand stage. Dana, you're on a grand stage this Sunday, WWE's Money in the Bank pay-per-view. And this is not going to be your first Money in the Bank ladder match, but it's definitely going to be the first one like this.
Absolutely unbelievable. I tell everybody, I don't even know how to prepare for this. Like, it's one, and it's a historical match. You start at the ground level and you have to race to the top of a building. So, and there's, rings on top. So, Uly had set up a ring back in his backyard. Definitely going to try and do some training. Like I had mentioned before, a lot of agility work. I don't know if there's like an abandoned building or somewhere I can run steps trying to like race to the top. It's going to be a lot of like street fighting too, because we're going to have to beat people off, while on the chase. So, I don't know if last year's Money in the Bank ladder match can prepare me for this one. It's just more or less I know how to set up a ladder and climb to the top. But that was definitely one of my favorite matches, and I'm pretty sure this one's going to top the cake as well. It's something completely different.
Yeah, you didn't run the risk of running into any T-Rex skulls, as Daniel Bryan brought up last year, like just hanging around in Vince McMahon's office. Like there were no dinosaur bones in last year's match. But
I don't know what to expect, because the corporate office is something magical, it's history. And so I'm excited to be there. Hopefully not get lost along the way and make it to the top.
And it's no secret now that headquarters won't be the headquarters maybe by next year or something. So, I mean, this is kind of putting a bow on history because everybody knows about Titan Towers. Like, everybody's heard about it. We've seen DX spray paint it. The raw intro that was on top of it. This is kind of ending history.
Historical moment. Yeah, for sure. And then I'm really excited to see what they come up with next, because Vince is always expanding and, he knows exactly what he's doing.
So Uly, as you see her preparing for something like this, and it's like, okay, you do jiu-jitsu, you do bare knuckle boxing, you do MMA, you're balancing all these different things. What kind of tips would you give a Dana Brooke as she's heading into an office building to fight a bunch of people, possibly 12 people at the same time, the way they're telling us right now?
Boys and girls,
yes,
too, male and female.
Honestly, she's one of the toughest people I know. She trains every day. She actually motivates me more than I motivate her to train because she's nonstop. She gets it every day. Rain, sleet, hail, or snow, she gets it. So I think she's more than prepared for this Money in the Bank. And she's been teaching me a couple moves in this ring, so I'm sure she's gonna toss a couple big dudes around too. She don't have no problem with that. So I see her doing real well. I see her doing real well in this competition.
I mean, you went viral.
That's me running around the block, and I don't run. Like, I don't run. So when he's like, "All right, let's hit the block," I'm like, "Oh God, here we go." So I think that, he's been preparing me the best he can for this, and I really appreciate it.
So it seems like your workouts differ. Like how extremely do they differ?
Like day to day for me and him, or
Yeah,
his
between
and I
you two. Yeah,
separate?
between you two.
Oh,
I mean, they differ in the sense that I do a lot of boxing training, like hitting mitts, hitting bags. You know, I'm working the ring with my coach. And she does a lot of more like, you know, squats, body workouts. She runs a lot of cardio, a lot of, like a lot of plyometrics. And, but, you know, we get a lot of calisthenics in together, you know, so that's mainly the workout. You know, the only big difference is that I do a lot more boxing. You know, I got the gloves on 90% of the time.
For you, Lee, how is isolation affecting you or your training and all that? Because is it because, I mean, do you have trouble finding training partners during this time?
Honestly, it's been a blessing. I'm again, you know, I hate use the word so much, but it's the truth. You know, my coach lives a block away from me, so he walks over every day. I have a ring, I have bags, I have speed bags, everything I need in my backyard. And finding training partners has not been hard at all because, you know, people are looking to fight, you know, and so I've been really making the most of this time. I have a couple friends that come over on a weekly basis, you know. I've had Hector Lombard in my backyard. I've had Luis Baboon Palomino in my backyard. So been some, you know, it's crazy. It's crazy having these guys back here and we're training our butt off, you know, just waiting for the next opportunity, which is soon to come up. You know what? Once this quarantine is over and they're going to bring back the fights, they're going to be looking for guys left and right, you know, at the drop of a hat. So we're ready. We're ready.
I mean, look at UFC. They finally got to come back and they're like, oh, we're going to run 3 events in the same week.
Right.
I mean, it's going to be nuts. I don't think
a
lot of
people, we're going to see who's been training and who hasn't now, you know?
Yeah. I don't think a lot of people understand the differences in each surface that you might train or work on, like a pro wrestling ring. Even different pro wrestling rings can, like a 6-sided ring compared to a 4-sided ring. Then you got boxing rings, you got an MMA cage. Is that ever an adjustment for you, Uly? Like anything like that?
Not really. Not really. The only adjustment I would say was, you know, in a box ring, it's easier to corner somebody. You know, I'm more of my fighting style is more like a stalker. You know, I like to bring people down. So, you know, in a box ring, it's easier to corner them. You know, in the bare knuckle ring, it's a circle, and in the octagon or titan cage, it's got size where you could kind of get out. You know, it's not you can't get trapped as easy as you do in a boxing ring.
Yeah, I saw one MMA promotion that ran a square cage, and I was so shocked that nobody worked the corners. Like, nobody worked the corners. And I was like, man, that seems like it would be commonplace in a thing like that. Well, Dana, we mentioned Money in the Bank. We've seen you featured a lot more lately. And, of course, you've been putting in a ton of work. Like I said, anybody who's seen your in-ring work has seen, like, you just explode in the ring lately. Has anybody specifically advocated for you to get featured more on WWE programming?
I think I've earned a lot of respect from the women because I really have never, you know, given up. I see a lot of girls that get frustrated and just kind of, you know, throw in the towel. I have a lot of people, my producers, that are always telling me, you know, never give up Dana, you know, it's time to shine. It's your time, you know, keep going, keep pushing. I was truly blessed and honored that they, you know, re-upped my contract for another 5 years. That was a year ago. And from that moment forward, I knew I had to put my head in, you know, in the dirt and kind of, you know, push through and really step it up. It was amazing to see that Natty, who I have truly, truly admired coming into the business, right in the Calgary Sun, you know, that she wanted me to win. And there was a little surprise video that I had seen from a bunch of the girls in my locker room that they had chose me to win. And that's who, you know, they had picked. Was they wanted to see me, knowing that I put in the hard work, the dedication, and the drive. And in 2020, I knew it was going to be my year. And I hope and pray and continue that safe happiness and health, you know, follows my path. And I have big goals and dreams set here in the next year.
You've also got Carmella sort of on the slate coming up, and you've had a bit of a recent history with her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how's that going to come if you all are standing, I don't know, across a boardroom table from each other, trying to get to the top?
Right? Hey, at these kind of matches, it doesn't matter your friendship or enemies. You know, you're all in it for yourself, and I think we understand that. coming into the business together as friends, and then also having to face each other in opposite, sides of the ring as well. At the end of the day, we know where we came from. We know that we all started together, and we know that, this is our dreams, and we want to make our dreams come true. So, may the best woman win.
For Uly, we've seen you again across all kinds of combat sports. Are there any, whether it be even something obscure, that you'd like to get into? Because I mean, there's still kickboxing, there's Muay Thai, there's a lot of other disciplines. You don't seem like you're closed-minded in that regard. You seem like you pretty much fight wherever you can fight and make some good money doing it.
That's my thing, man. I just love fighting. I respect and I love every style of it. I'm even thinking about maybe in the future doing 1 or 2 fights at left weight. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's wild. I would like to try that too. But as of right now, I know everything's about to start back up. Maybe in the next, by the end of this month, maybe beginning of June. And anybody, any promoter out there listening, I'm ready. I'm ready to take a fight. Let's sign these contracts, get the money right, and let's make it happen.
Vince McMahon, this is your guy.
That's right. There's no Vince.
You got a monster on the loose.
And I mean, that's a thing I've noticed about you throughout your career. You've been really active, especially the last 2 or 3 years. How has that been for you, not getting that fight every couple months over the last couple of months?
For me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. It has been tough. It's been a little tough, but, me and my coach were talking about it the other day. We've been putting in a lot of hard work. I feel like I'm at a good point, on a rise in my career. So from now on, it's not good to take fights every month. Let's take the right fights. Let's make the right moves. Let's get seen by the right people. And I think I want to make a prediction that in the next 12 months I'll be a world champion in boxing. Also in the cruiserweight division, I'll have a world title. Which one, I don't know yet, but in the next 12 months, I'm definitely going for a world title, and hopefully I'll have a championship belt for BKFC also.
Yeah, that was the thing that I noticed. It seems like you're fighting a half dozen, maybe 7, even 8 times a year. And in this period where you can't fight for a few months, I'm like, does that make you stir crazy, or are you just working to get better?
You know what? Since I started at a late age, I wanted to get a lot of fights under my belt and get that and just get that feeling. I fought a million times, but fighting in the ring is like nothing else. The anticipation, you're building up, you're getting ready for this guy. This guy's getting ready for you. You weigh in front, you're in each other's faces. You might be talking trash this whole time. And then it comes to fight day, and it's more mental than anything else. You got to get in your mind. And that's why I've taken a lot of fights. I've put myself in these positions to make sure I have the toughness in my brain. And now I know I do, and now it's just time to move on and make smart decisions, make smart plays, and, have a good future in this game.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, no, I'm super proud of him as far as his mindset, because any fighter, and this is coming from experience, for me, at least, I've always traveled within the last 6 years traveling. So I get a little bit stir crazy. He seems so balanced and so mellow because he knows that this is all going to be lifted. And he knows that he has been preparing every single day, day in, day out. He watches film. He watches his fights back. I think that just motivates him 100 times more, that when this all gets lifted and the right fight falls into his lap, that he's going to be overly prepared and ready to take on, his next opponent. So for me, and being an outsider and kind of knowing a little bit and knowing how it feels, I'm very proud of him because he's very balanced in a sense of he's not going stir crazy. His aggression, he's not aggressive or, he doesn't get mad or anything like that. He just knows that everything's going to happen and everything happens for a reason.
Well, we had mentioned your travel schedule. Obviously, Dana, that's changed significantly. I mean,
yes,
I know you still had to do a little bit of traveling, but over the last few years, you've been going all across the world, and even the filming schedule has been categorically different. I know last year you moved from Raw to SmackDown, so I don't know what kind of transition that made too. You've underwent a lot of change over the past 7 or 8 months.
Right, and that's something that I used to be so against. In the fitness industry, I was just so set on my routine every morning, every day, every night I was so set in my ways. So set in not having anything come into my path and disrupt my schedule. But being able to adapt has really, I've learned a lot about myself and being able to make changes on the fly. And within this last, I would say 2 months, that things have really gone up in the air, will make me appreciate it more when it, returns. And I won't ever take, fans for granted. I will never take a show for granted, as far as when I work Friday, Saturday, and Sundays at live events. Sometimes I would be super tired, but now I'm hungry for it. I miss that fan. I miss coming out of the curtain and having thousands and thousands of people cheering my name. And doing it now in Orlando is something completely different. And in 20 years from now, looking back, no one's going to be able to have experienced something, that I have. And I can tell young wrestlers at the time, don't take your fans for granted, because I've been in an environment where I had to work with nobody around, and it is hard, very hard.
I keep telling people the documentaries that WWE is going to be able to produce coming out of this period of time are going to be unreal. Like they already do that better than anybody, but like we're going to see WWE 24s probably about this period of time. It's going to be fascinating to watch. And it's fascinating to watch you all wrestle in front of no fans. Alexa joked that she was used to getting no reaction because nobody made noise for her in NXT.
Oh, bless her heart.
She joked. Aww. She was like, "Oh, I was used to that already." But how was it? How was it for you the first time you were out there and there's just nobody?
I had to, WWE knows exactly what they're doing, and I find it very admirable that they didn't, they wanted to come out with live content for people sitting at home. And so I had to take that into my mindset and know that there might not be people in front of me or out in the arena, but there are millions and millions and millions of viewers on the other side of that TV that are stuck inside, that may be sick, that may be going through a hard time, that this is their outlet, is to watch us perform. And knowing that we possibly are getting, thousands of new fans, because we are the only thing live on TV right now. So I really praise and admire WWE for allowing us to perform, and the show must go on. And as far as, the health aspect of it, they're taking things very, very serious. People have asked me, I can't believe you guys are working at this time. What is WWE thinking? They're really doing everything that they can to keep us safe and healthy. As far as every time we walk in the building, they test, they give us tests. We have to answer questionnaire forms every single week going into work. So they are looking out for our best interests, but also the best interests around the fans, the entire world. So that's my mindset, is knowing that there's millions of children and families on that other side of the TV that are cheering for me, or maybe booing, whoever knows. But we're bringing that entertainment at home.
Yeah, I've heard WWE does pretty heavy medical screening before you even get into the building at the Performance Center, let alone getting in the ring and all that. I had mentioned how busy both of you are with his active fight schedule, you traveling and working all the time. Individually, are you all the kind of people that when you have some downtime, you're like, what's wrong? Is there something wrong here? Like,
absolutely. We try. Downtime is weird.
It's very weird. And I'm a homebody too, but at the same time, I'm like, whoa, what do you mean? I'm staying in a house? Are you kidding me? I have a closet with clothes. I'm used to living out of a suitcase. I have options to choose from.
Yeah.
But it's, I don't want to speak for him, but I miss going out to dinner and having, a nice relaxed evening. But I don't go out and go crazy and go party. I want to come home and just relax. But I do, it's nice when I go and travel, but then, and he's doing his thing, but at the end of the day, we can come home and go to dinner or enjoy friends and company. So that's our quote unquote downtime. But this is like, it's cool in a sense of we wake up and, the gym's in his backyard type thing. So that's been very beneficial. But as far as it goes, I don't know. It's going to be weird. What's normal now? What's the new norm? I have no idea.
I think Vince McMahon was very realistic about that. I think it was on the investor call. He was like, might be 2 weeks, might be 2 months, might be 2 years. I don't know when things are going to go back to normal or what normal will be. I thought that was a very responsible answer to something like that, because there are a lot of people that are just like, hey, go out now. There are a lot of people that are like, I might not go out again type of thing. But I thought that was a pretty responsible way of handling things.
Yeah, no, I do too. I don't know what the new norm is, but we're going to take it one day at a time. And what do I always say? It is what it is, right?
Yeah. Just a couple more questions as we wrap up. For Uly, of course, you had the boxing background. Did you know straight away that you wanted to get into everything else as well? Did you know MMA, jiu-jitsu, all that, or did it come to you?
No. Okay, so what happened was I had just won a boxing match, and my manager also owns a barber shop. So we were there, and Lex McMahon happened to be there for a meeting. So as I was leaving, I shot kind of joking, kind of not, like telling Lex, hey, put me in an MMA fight, get me a stand-up dude, And we laughed it off, and when I left 30 minutes later, he called me and said, get ready, for the December fight. So I started getting ready. I was in camp with Yoel Romero. I was blessed to have that camp. That was amazing, And then soon as I fought there, the guys from Bare Knuckle started contacting me. And my coach trains Hector Lombard too. So I was, again, blessed to have that guy as a sparring partner for the Bare Knuckle. And again, everything just fell into place. I've been very blessed to have everybody behind me, have Miami behind me. I bring a big crowd, so the promoters obviously love it. So, it's worked out in my favor.
Lex makes things happen. He
does.
That's the thing. If he thinks it'll be good on the screen, he will make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and Lex does not mess around, and his word is golden. So if he tells you something, you can bet on it.
And a reminder, guys, WWE Network has Money in the Bank this weekend. Dana, as we kind of wrap things up, what was your reaction when they first came to you and said, oh, well, Money in the Bank, but it's in this building?
I was blown away by it. I mean, even doing, having my qualifying match against Naomi, who is one of my dear sisters, one of the most athletic girls in the ring too. So I was like, well, I have to face her. And, pulling that upset victory, my expression showed it all. I was super excited. I couldn't believe it. I ran to Michael Cole thinking, and, just in amazement, thinking, okay, I know this. Like, I've been in one of these before. I know the strategy. Like, everything is, I got this,
Psych.
I had my hands on that briefcase last year.
Yeah.
I was like, this is mine. Like, I can taste it. And then they were like, oh, and by the way, ... it was okay. I'm like, you're kidding me. And I told him right away, I was like, do you not understand that, like, it's not just in a ring. Like, I have to, like, fight my way, run to the top. And like I said in the beginning of this, I don't know how to prepare for it. So I'm doing every possible thing. Actually, I'm going to make them take me to Home Depot now, and I'm going to purchase every single ladder there is. And I'm going to fight them off those ladders and then try and climb to the top as fast as I can.
Yeah, and he just put a ring in his backyard. He's
yeah,
aware.
Right?
Like, I mean,
this is great.
You got to get ready for it. Well, as we wrap up, let the people know where they can follow you guys on social media or support you guys. Anything else that you all want out there in the world, please let us know.
Ladies first.
You can find me on Instagram at Asha Sabera _Dana Brooke. On Twitter at Dana Brooke WWE. I'm also on TikTok, which is huge. It has blown up.
Was about to ask if you all were on the TikTok boat.
I'm obsessed. I am so obsessed. I still got to get him on the TikTok, but yeah, that's an amazing platform as well. That's really taken off. So same thing, Asha Sabera _Dana Brooke. You can find me on all those social media platforms.
Well, if he keeps knocking people out in like 12 seconds, you can put all your knockouts on TikTok. You don't have to worry about it.
Right? It's 15-second max. Thank you.
Yeah, the only thing I have is Instagram. You can find me as Uly, ULY _monster on Instagram. I only have one platform because it's too much for me already.
I'm plugging him. Watch. He has an amazing website as well.
Oh, yeah. It's team-monster.com. Team-monster.com. You can find everything on my Instagram. Everything's on my bio. My message to everybody is don't give up. Keep grinding. This thing will lift itself. Who knows when, but it will eventually. You know what I mean? And everything's going to go back to normal. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you very much. And I hope to see you guys again soon.
Yeah, guys, make sure you all check out Uly's past fights. They are something to behold. Bare knuckle fighting, Titan FC, boxing, all across everything. And that's what we really love at Fightful. We love that crossover. I want to thank you guys so much for taking the time.
Yeah, you have to come out to one of my fights and also his fight.
For sure.
Hey,
for sure.
hey, you know what? I might have to do that. I might
Please,
have to
invites
do that.
on the table, free tickets, you got it. No worry.
WWE Money in the Bank this Sunday. Check that out as well. Until next time, guys, we are out.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.